Hello guys, this is Manish. So this is the first video of our deep learning series. I planned a series of videos in deep learning context. So this is the first video, and in this video we will discuss a bunch of topics. And the first topic here we are going to discuss, it is something about history of deep learning and neural networks as mentioned here. Yeah. So guys, basically the history of deep neural networks basically started in the year 1957 from the scientist known as Rosenbelt. The perceptron model is nearly similar to logistic regression. We will discuss about it in the later videos as well. So I just want to continue further for a moment. Just wait. Okay, there's some technical glitch. Okay, it's fine now. Okay, so guys, basically the word neural networks is basically arrived from the biological inspiration. Basically it has some biological inspiration. Basically we human beings, monkeys, and all of the creatures have neurons, the fundamental building block. Yeah, we have neurons. Basically through the neurons, the working mechanism of neurons, neural networks in a human body was actually, it was taken in consideration to some extent when the concept of artificial neural network, was brought into ideation. So yeah, so I just want to continue further. So guys, basically if I have to speak, let us find out some contrast among the biological and the artificial neural network. What is the basic difference? Let's understand that first. So guys, basically the biological neural network basically consists of a neuron. It basically consists of a network of neurons. Now let us consider a neuron, yeah, a biological neuron and an artificial neuron. Let's see the differences among them. Basically, biologically, a neuron have a cell body, it have dendrites and axons. Basically, if you're a biology student, you must be aware of the fact that dendrite takes in the incoming signals, cell body processes the signals, and axon produces an output. And this action is again connected to the next dendrite of the next neuron, and so on. Yeah, so that is the case of biological neuron. Now, mathematically, our popular mathematicians have regenerated the form of biological neuron into an artificial neuron, as all the incoming signals to the dendrite in the artificial neuron are represented by x1, x2 axon, which are basically the input signals. Different signals have different weight, like w1, w2, that different signals have different proportion of weights. Now this part is basically the cell body in artificial neuron. Basically the first part is summation and next part is function. What summation does here is that it basically adds, it basically adds all the input signals, and after adding all the input signals with respect to the particular weight, we provide a function. We process the summation with a function which is basically known as activation function, and eventually it produces an output. Hopefully right now you might be really unclear with all of these terms, but in the later videos you will understand it more nicely. So yeah, let's continue further. Look, let us consider a human brain. Basically here this is a one neuron. Yeah, this is basically one neuron, and this is next neuron, this is third neuron, fourth neuron, fifth neuron, sixth neuron. Human brain is basically the network of neurons. Yeah, that is really clear to us. It is basically what? It is a network of neurons. Yeah. So now let us, after getting some idea on biological neural network and artificial neural network to some level in this 4 minutes video, now I want to carry further on the actual history of neural network. That is the topic or agenda of today. So guys, basically if I have to say about the history of neural network, basically in the year 1986, Geoffrey Hinton, who was also known as the godfather of deep learning and AI right now, who is also one of the popular machine learning scientists at Google, he basically introduced the concept of backpropagation algorithm, which is nothing other than chain rule of differentiation. These are all the topics in the machine learning backpropagation algorithm. Basically he introduced that concept, and basically that concept in the early 90s, it gave rise to the deep learning. But there was some issues at that very time. What was the issue? Was like basically at that very time, as we see, there was very low computational power. Yeah, at the time, what there was basically there were two problems. Look, there were first problem was basically there was low computational power. Yeah, and meanwhile at the time we have less data. Basically, the concept of deep learning was initiated by Geoffrey Hinton in the early 1986 itself. Yeah, but however, due to less computational power and you can see due to less data, what happened is that the concept of deep learning slowly went down, which is also known as AI winter. Yeah, which is also known as AI winter. What happened at that very time is that the United States Department of Defense, US DoD, even its complete funding on AI eventually dried up in the early 1995. So after that, basically the funding on AI dried up, and the deep learning concept completely went down at that very time. So what was the motivation further? Let's see what happened next. So till 1995 to 2009, during this 10 years, I must say during this 15 years time, the people were still using the traditional machine learning algorithm like support vector machine, random forest, GBDT, and so on. The concept of deep learning was still in the initial phases and was not in sight of the people. That was the situation. But however, it was Geoffrey Hinton who, after his 20 years of research, yeah, in 1986 he introduced the concept of backpropagation. Okay, and again in the year 2006, with his 20 years of research, what he did is he basically wrote a research paper. He wrote a research paper on deep learning. Okay, and that research paper was published, and that research paper eventually opened the doorway for deep learning to some level. That happened. Yeah, so after that, what happened? Let's see. So eventually in 2012, what happened is that there was a competition on ImageNet. Yeah, there was a competition on classifying images during using machine learning algorithms, and in that competition, it was Geoffrey Hinton who introduced the concept of ImageNet, who introduced the concept of deep learning, CNN and RNN, by virtue of which the deep learning concept get a huge hype. Yeah, basically it got huge hype. Oh, sorry, I'm really sorry for that. Actually, I'm not prepared for this. Yeah, basically it got a huge what happened, sorry. Yeah, basically it got a huge hype at that very time in the year 2012. So yeah, so it was in 1986 in which Geoffrey Hinton introduced the concept of backpropagation. In 2006, he wrote a first research paper in deep learning, and eventually after 2012, the deep learning got a huge hype. So that is the basic history, a timeline of deep learning. As we can see, after 2012, lot of big companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, all of these companies, due to lots of data and lots of computational power, that time or that duration is also known as golden days of AI. Yeah, after that we eventually got our golden days of AI, and hence this is all about the basic history of neural networks. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, so see you in the next video. Thank you all.